Something inexplicable happened. A respected worker saw a huge, dark, and silent object hovering over the ice. Bright windows and a perfect circle left on the lake days later confirmed what he saw. But what was it? A natural phenomenon, a helicopter? Or something from another world? Are you ready to uncover the mystery of the Vikérni Lake Enigma? Have you ever wondered what really happens in the skies and the seas? What lies hidden beyond what the human eye can see? Welcome to Immaculate Constellation, where the mysteries of the cosmos come to life. Here, we go beyond science, exploring accounts of encounters with beings from other worlds, sightings that defy all explanations, and theories the government doesn't want you to know. Get ready to question everything you believe about the universe. The truth is out there, and we're here to chase it. Subscribe now, because the reality you know may never be the same again. On January 21st, 1976, one of the most intriguing incidents in Swedish ufology occurred in the quiet municipality of Norra, in the Örebro County, Sweden. Located in Gyttorp, a predominantly industrial area, the Nitro Nobel factory was one of the region's main economic pillars. Specializing in the production of explosives, the factory employed hundreds of local residents and was renowned for its strict attention to safety due to the highly sensitive nature of its operations. Near the factory, Lake Vikérni, with its waters often frozen during the harsh winters, was a striking feature of the landscape. The region had a rich history dating back to the Middle Ages, including the Gorp House, a mansion that had been transformed into various establishments over the centuries. This lake, which often reflected the peaceful monotony of life in Gyttorp, would become the epicenter of a mystery that would intrigue residents, scientists, and UFO enthusiasts for decades. The narrative of the case revolves around Alan Jansen, an experienced supervisor at Nitro Nobel, whose integrity and seriousness were widely recognized. Alan had been working at the factory for over a decade, playing a crucial role in supervising nighttime operations. He was responsible for ensuring that everything was in order, both inside and outside the facilities, to avoid any possibility of disaster. On an apparently ordinary night, while making one of his rounds, Alan witnessed something that would change his life forever and thrust the small community of Norra into an inexplicable enigma. It was a typical Swedish winter night, with temperatures reaching -16 degrees Celsius, as Alan conducted one of his regular rounds at approximately 10:25 p.m. Walking along the fence surrounding the factory, he had a clear view of Lake Vikérni, whose waters were completely frozen. With the dark sky and limited lighting from nearby street lights, the environment was utterly silent, broken only by Alan's footsteps in the snow. At that moment, he noticed something unusual. Above the frozen surface of the lake, there was a large, dark object that immediately caught his attention. Even from a distance, Alan could distinguish rows of illuminated windows emitting a whitish-yellow light. Initially, he tried to rationalize what he was seeing. Perhaps it was a herd of animals, he thought, as the glow of the windows could be mistaken for eyes reflecting light. However, as he moved away from the artificial lighting and allowed his eyes to adjust to the darkness, he realized that it was not a group of animals. The object had a distinctly circular shape, approximately 35 meters in diameter, with about 12 to 15 windows aligned along its upper section. The light emanating from the windows, curiously, did not reflect on the ice, which added even more mystery. Alan was paralyzed, torn between fascination and fear. He had never seen anything like it before. As much as he wanted to continue observing, the responsibilities of his job compelled him to return to the factory. During subsequent rounds that night, he repeatedly checked the lake and, to his surprise, the object remained in the same place, motionless, as if it were being watched by something unknown. This vigil lasted several hours, until around 3 a.m., when the object finally disappeared without a trace. Alan decided to keep what he had seen a secret, fearing ridicule or disbelief from his colleagues. Days after the mysterious sighting, on January 26, 1976, Alan Jansen encountered something that further reinforced the strangeness of what he had witnessed. During his daytime rounds, while walking along the shore of Lake Vikérni, he noticed an unusual mark on the ice. It was a large circle, approximately 40 meters in diameter, located precisely where the object had been stationary on the night of the 21st. In the center of the circle were vertical ice crystals, extremely thin, measuring between 3 and 15 centimeters in height, arranged in patterns that seemed almost artificial. Outside the mark, the ice thickness was uniform, but within the circle, it was significantly thinner, as if something had melted the ice in a controlled manner. The discovery left Alan perplexed and uneasy. After days of trying to rationalize what he had witnessed, he now had physical evidence that seemed to corroborate his experience. Even so, he hesitated to share what he knew. After all, how could he explain something so extraordinary without appearing fanciful? But the burden of keeping this secret began to torment him. He finally decided to report the incident to some colleagues, starting with the description of the object he had seen on the night of the 21st, and then the discovery of the circle on the ice. To his surprise, his colleagues did not respond with skepticism or jokes. On the contrary, many seemed to believe his words. Alan was widely respected in the community and had an impeccable reputation. The news quickly spread to the small town of Nora, attracting curious people who wanted to see the circle on the ice with their own eyes. The story soon reached the local media, and the case began to gain regional attention. For Alan, the initial relief of sharing his experience was quickly replaced by growing discomfort, as he now became the focus of incessant questions and a curiosity that seemed endless. With increasing public attention, the UFO Sweden organization decided to launch an investigation into the case. Known for its serious and methodical approach, UFO Sweden sent a team of specialists to examine the mark on the ice and interview Alan Jansen. Upon arriving at Lake Vikérni, the investigators confirmed that the circle on the ice displayed unusual characteristics. The pattern of the ice crystals was unique and did not appear to be the result of any known natural process. Additionally, the variation in ice thickness within the circle indicated that something had generated enough heat to partially melt it, but in a controlled manner, without damaging the surrounding area. With increasing public attention, the UFO Sweden organization decided to launch an investigation into the case. Known for its serious and methodical approach, UFO Sweden sent a team of specialists to examine the mark on the ice and interview Alan Jansen. Upon arriving at Lake Vikérni, the investigators confirmed that the circle on the ice displayed unusual characteristics. The pattern of the ice crystals was unique and did not appear to be the result of any known natural process. Additionally, the variation in ice thickness within the circle indicated that something had generated enough heat to partially melt it, but in a controlled manner, without damaging the surrounding area. At the same time, theories began to emerge to explain the circle on the ice. Some people suggested it could have been caused by a natural phenomenon, such as the release of methane gas from the lake's depths, which might have generated enough heat to create the circle. However, this hypothesis did not account for the vertical ice crystals, whose formation defied meteorological or geological explanations. The initial analysis found no evidence of radiation or other typical signs of a UFO event, but the mark on the ice remained an enigma that the investigators could not solve. The narrative began to grow larger, attracting attention even beyond Sweden. Decades after the incident, a new explanation emerged, casting doubt on what really happened at Lake Vikérni. In April 2006, Ingmar Sorman, a retired helicopter pilot, contacted UFO Sweden. He claimed that on the night of January 21st, 1976, he had been conducting training maneuvers with a student precisely over Lake Vikérni. According to Sorman, the exercise involved flying in circles, hovering over the frozen surface, and temporarily turning off the helicopter's lights to simulate emergency situations. He suggested that the mark on the ice could have been caused by the heat from the engine, and that the lights Alan Jansen saw were, in fact, the lights of his helicopter. Although plausible at first glance, Sorman's explanation was widely questioned. First, The timelines didn't match. Sorman claimed to have left the area around 6:30 p.m., while Allen reported seeing the object for the first time at 10:25 p.m. and that it remained in place until about 3 a.m. Additionally, Sorman's helicopter had a flashing red light, a feature that Allen did not mention in his account. Another point of contention was the pattern of the ice crystals. Even if the helicopter could have partially melted the ice, it did not explain the formation of the vertical crystals, whose structure defied simple explanations. Despite these discrepancies, Sorman's explanation reignited the debate about the case, generating new theories and speculations. Some suggested that the phenomenon could be a combination of natural and artificial events, while others firmly believed that the object Allen described was of extraterrestrial origin. The discussion raised a series of questions. What was the object? Why did it remain stationary for so long? And most importantly, why did it leave such unusual marks on the ice? Even with the passage of years, these questions remain unanswered, perpetuating the mystery of the Vikérni case. For Alan Jansen, the Vikérni case brought more than just mystery and curiosity. It also brought an emotional burden that he carried for the rest of his life. Initially, sharing what he saw was an attempt to relieve the weight of the secret. However, the growing media attention and community interest quickly turned what he had hoped would be a discreet conversation into a widely debated topic. Allen began receiving frequent visits from journalists, curious onlookers, and investigators, all eager for more details. This unexpected flood of attention made Allen uncomfortable, and over time, he began to regret speaking about the incident. The exposure also impacted his personal life. His family learned about the case through newspapers, as Allen had never mentioned the sighting at home. Despite his children and wife showing support, Allen avoided talking about the event, preferring to leave the subject in the past. The only thing he occasionally repeated was, "I know what I saw." While the local community was mostly supportive, there were also those who questioned the story, and the lingering doubt made Allen increasingly reserved in subsequent years. He rarely gave interviews and rejected any attempts to commercialize the case. On February 21, 1993, Allen passed away at the age of 74, still pondering what he had witnessed on that cold January night. In his final statements about the case, he admitted that he never found a logical explanation for what he saw, but reaffirmed that his experience was real. For him, the episode was both a revelation and a curse, leaving him torn between the certainty of what he had experienced and the absence of concrete answers. The psychological impact of the event shaped the final years of his life, making the Vikérni case more than just a ufological curiosity, a reminder of how the unknown can profoundly affect those who encounter it. The Vikérni case remains one of the most intriguing mysteries in Swedish ufology. Despite decades of investigation and numerous theories, no definitive explanation has been found for what Alan Jansen witnessed that night. The mark on the ice, with its vertical crystals and perfectly circular pattern, is an enigma that defies both natural and artificial explanations. While Ingmar Sorman's account provided a possible alternative, the discrepancies in timing and details made his explanation insufficient to close the case. The lack of conclusive evidence, such as radiation or specific physical traces, left the event in a gray area where mystery and doubt coexist. More than just a simple sighting, the Vikérni case reflects the challenges that unexplained phenomena pose to our understanding of the world. It highlights the complexity of ufological investigations, which often encounter barriers due to the lack of material evidence and the subjectivity of human accounts. However, the case also demonstrates the emotional and social impact these experiences can have on witnesses. For Alan Jansen, the event was both transformative and distressing. His story, told with honesty and consistency over the years, became a legacy that continues to inspire curiosity and debate. The mystery of Vikérni remains unsolved, but perhaps that's what makes it so fascinating. It serves as a reminder that no matter how far science and technology advance, there are still mysteries that challenge us to question the unknown. The case is not just a story of a possible encounter with the inexplicable, but also a testament to human vulnerability in the face of the unknown. It invites us to reflect on what we know and the vast universe of things we have yet to understand. Enjoy this mystery? Subscribe, leave a like, and share with friends who might be interested. For more videos like this, don't forget to turn on notifications.